Before going to drama, please subscribe my channel. Thank you. At the beginning of drama, we see Lucy was a magical little girl who had come on a trip with her family 3 years ago, but got lost by mistake. While searching for a way back, she reached the foot of Chake Mountain, where a master took her in. He raised her with love and taught her magic. However, over time, Lucy's appetite grew, and she ate all of the master's chickens. So, the master decided to send her back to her family. Using his powers, he located her parents and gave her a magical map to find them. Lucy was overjoyed and immediately disappeared. On her journey, night fell, and she kept wandering in the same place. Just then, 2 boys appeared and tried to trick her into kidnapping her. Though innocent, Lucy was a little smart. She told them that if they didn't take her to her dad, she would turn them into dogs. The boys laughed at her words and, under the pretense of a pinky promise, took her along. However, they locked her in a house where several other children were already held captive. Lucy quickly understood the situation, used her magic, and escaped. Seeing this, the boys were shocked. Lucy had warned them, but they didn't listen. One of the boys, in anger, tried to shoot her, but Lucy stopped the bullet in midair. Out of fear, he fired more shots, but she stopped them all. Then, using her magic, she turned both boys into dogs and took all the children to the police station. There, many parents were already crying while searching for their lost children. When they saw their kids, they rejoiced with happiness. The police asked the children who had saved them, and they all pointed at Lucy. Everyone was astonished that such a young girl had done this. Lucy saved all the children, but just then, the 2 kidnappers arrived. They were in bad condition and ended up confessing their crime on their own. After everyone left, the police asked Lucy about her parents. She revealed that she was the daughter of the CEO of Lee Corporation. The police were shocked to hear this because they had never heard that the CEO of Lee Group had a daughter. They immediately contacted the company. On the other hand, at hospital, Lucy's father, uncle, aunt, and grandfather were present, but the grandfather was in very poor health. He told his son, Leo, that he had been searching for his granddaughter for years, but now, in his final moments, he wanted to see her one last time. Just then, Amy, Lucy's aunt, received a call and arrived at the police station with her husband. There, she saw Lucy and suspected that the child was lying. However, she decided to take her with them. She told her husband that they could use this child to claim all the property for themselves. Amy and her husband started teaching Lucy what to say, but Lucy refused to lie. Meanwhile, the grandfather told Leo that his time had come and handed over all the property and responsibilities to him. Just then, Amy arrived with Lucy and claimed that she had brought back their lost granddaughter. The grandfather immediately recognized her, but Leo did not. Lucy hugged him and said that she had missed her father a lot in the past 3 years. Amy and her husband tried to convince everyone that Lucy didn't remember much and that she had been living in a nearby city. Their plan seemed to be working, but Leo still had doubts. Lucy mentioned some of Leo's habits, which made him trust her a little. Just then, a call came from the police station, informing them that this child had been kidnapped years ago and was brought there by Amy and her husband. Leo became suspicious that the 2 were plotting something. The grandfather became very angry after hearing all this, which worsened his condition, causing him to cough up blood. Leo immediately sent his assistant to call a doctor. Meanwhile, Amy and her husband were discussing what they would gain after the grandfather's death. Hearing this, Lucy became very angry and used magic to freeze both of them. However, they continued discussing their scheme, making Lucy even angrier, so she froze their mouths as well. Leo witnessed all this and couldn't understand what was happening. He asked Lucy what she was doing, and she replied that she wanted to save her grandfather. She then opened a magical pot containing enchanted water and gave it to her grandfather to drink. Just then, the doctors arrived and angrily said that the grandfather's condition was critical and they couldn't allow anyone to give him anything like that. Lucy argued and insisted that she was trying to save her grandfather. The doctors, furious, tried to take the grandfather away for treatment, but Lucy stopped them. Using her magical eyes, she looked at her grandfather and discovered a shocking truth. She saw that dark forces had surrounded her grandpa. If he didn't receive the right treatment in time, he could die. Without wasting a moment, Lucy used her magic to freeze all the doctors. When her dad tried to stop her, she froze him as well. Then, she carefully gave her grandpa just the right amount of magical water. After that, she unfroze everyone. As soon as people regained consciousness, they turned against Luck, accusing her of being a liar and saying all sorts of harsh things. Angrily, Lucy asked them who had sent them and if they wanted to kill her dad. The people started accusing her of poisoning her grandpa. Lucy tried hard to explain that her grandpa was now fine and would wake up in 2 hours, but no one believed her. Even Leo refused to trust her because, in the past, several children had pretended to be Lucy and tried to enter his family. This time, even if he wanted to believe, he just couldn't. Just then, Leo called the guards and ordered them to throw the child out. Lucy, furious, attacked the guards and ran away in tears. Once outside, she was extremely upset with her dad and declared that she wouldn't return unless he personally came to take her home. Seeing this, Leo instructed his assistant to keep an eye on Lucy. Lucy walked far away, exhausted and hungry. She reached a nearby restaurant where she saw people making digital payments. Mistakenly, she assumed that payments could be made simply by scanning one's face. She entered the restaurant and ordered a large amount of food. Within minutes, she had finished eating everything. When she stepped outside, the cashier asked her for payment. Lucy placed her face on the scanner and started to walk away, shocking the cashier, who angrily demanded the money. Lucy once again scanned her face and confidently said that she had paid, but the cashier realized she hadn't actually done so. At that moment, the restaurant owner arrived, furious, and asked why she had eaten so much food if she didn't have any money. As punishment, the owner told her to work at the restaurant. Lucy was highly skilled at cooking, so she quickly prepared some incredible dishes. When people tasted her food, they were so impressed that they offered her a job on the spot. The owner told her she could stay, eat, and work there for as long as she wanted. However, they soon noticed that the pan Lucy had been using had broken. So, they assigned her a different task instead. Lucy happily started working and used her magic to serve food to customers. But suddenly, she accidentally bumped into a woman, spilling food all over her clothes. The woman became furious and started scolding Lucy. Lucy apologized, but the woman was rude and worked for a big company. Just then, one of her friends arrived, and together, they tried to humiliate Lucy. She flaunted her wealth and said, "Do you even realize how expensive the dress you just ruined is? My dress is worth millions. And you think that just by saying a simple sorry, I will forgive you? No, I won't forgive you so easily. Kneel before me and apologize, and maybe, just maybe, I'll consider forgiving you." Hearing this, Lucy firmly replied, "I am not going to apologize to you, no matter what you do." This enraged Louis and her friend, and they tried to force Lucy to apologize. But Lucy was strong, and they couldn't make her bend to their will. She then asked, "Do you all really want me to apologize in front of everyone? Fine then, let me apologize to all of you." Meanwhile, Leo arrived at the same restaurant. A while ago, his secretary had informed him that his father had fully recovered. When the doctors examined him, they confirmed that the liquid the little girl had given him was an incredibly unique elixir, one that could even bring people back to life after death. Realizing this, Leo became fully convinced that Lucy was indeed his daughter. Wanting to see her, he went to the restaurant. When he arrived, his assistant told him that Lucy was inside but had gotten into some trouble. She had accidentally spilled food on Secretary Louis's dress, and now Louis and her friend were forcing her to apologize. Hearing this, Leo stormed inside and demanded, "Who is forcing my daughter to apologize?" However, as soon as he entered, he was shocked to see that Lucy had already brought all three of them to their knees using her magic. Seeing her father, Lucy ran to him and said, "I knew you would come for me." Louis and her friend were stunned. They had no idea that their boss was even married, let alone that he had a daughter. Now, they were completely confused about whether Lucy was telling the truth or not. Without knowing the full story, they immediately started bad-mouthing Lucy in front of Leo. They complained, "This girl treated us terribly. She forced us to kneel and apologize. All I did was ask her to apologize for ruining my dress, but this child is extremely rude." Leo didn't want to doubt his daughter any longer, so he asked Lucy to tell him everything. Lucy explained the entire situation. After hearing her side, Leo became furious at Louis and her friend. He scolded them severely before leaving with his daughter. Outside, when Lucy saw her dad's luxurious car, she was overjoyed. She walked around the car, admiring it from all angles. But then, she suddenly stood still and calmly said, "Dad, you didn't believe me before. You thought I was a liar. So, I won't go home with you." Hearing this, Leo picked her up in his arms and said, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me." This made Lucy very happy and she forgave him. But just then, she noticed a black, negative energy swirling around her dad. It was a clear sign that he was in danger. Alarmed, Lucy said, "Dad, let's go home." They both started heading home together. However, on the way, Leo's assistant received a phone call. Leo learned that the tender he had placed last week to buy secret land had been lost. Someone else had outbid him by just 1 yuan and won the tender. Enraged, Leo said, "Drop Lucy home quickly. I need to go back to the office and find out how this happened." Seeing this, Lucy insisted on going to the office with her dad. She knew he was in danger and didn't want to leave his side. So, she went with him to the office. As soon as they entered, she came face to face with Secretary Louis. She gets very angry upon seeing Lucy and shouts, "What are you doing here? Get out of here immediately." Just then, Leo enters and says, "Who dares to throw my daughter out of here?" All the employees panic upon seeing their boss suddenly enter the office in this manner. Leo orders everyone to stop working and announces that he had placed a secret tender for Eastland, but he lost it by just 1 yuan. He is certain that someone betrayed his company and shared his bid amount with someone else. He demands that whoever made this mistake come forward. Otherwise, if he has to find out himself, he won't let them off easily. The employees start whispering among themselves. Some of them claim that it was a secret project and they had no knowledge of it, so they couldn't have betrayed the company. Leo clarifies that most of them weren't aware of it, but the one who committed the betrayal knew everything. He vows not to let that person escape so easily. Just then, his assistant rushes in and reports that he found a broken button inside the tender's locker. It likely belongs to the person who committed the betrayal. Leo immediately orders an inspection of all employees, but no clues are found. Lucy notices her dad's anger and decides to help him. She takes out a magical item and says that it can easily reveal who the button belongs to. Everyone assumes she's just being childish, but Lucy casts a spell on a piece of paper, turning it into a small magical puppy that starts sniffing around for the culprit. After a while, the puppy runs straight towards Secretary Louis and grabs onto her. Leo personally inspects her dress and discovers that the broken button indeed belongs to Secretary Louis's outfit. Secretary Louis refuses to accept the accusation, claiming that she had visited that place for office work but didn't commit any betrayal. She insists that she has worked honestly in the office for many years and cannot be falsely accused. Some employees start supporting her, believing that keeping her in the company would benefit them. Lucy looks at her dad and uses magic to help him hear everyone's true thoughts. Leo listens to Secretary Louis's inner thoughts. She is thinking that if she manages to escape this situation, she will gain great benefits. She had cunningly stolen the tender and believes that this little girl cannot do anything against her. She is confident that she will easily get away with it and work for the company she helped win the tender. Upon hearing this, Leo becomes furious. He exposes Secretary Louis's betrayal in front of everyone and angrily declares that she has committed a great fraud against his company. He then orders that she be thrown out of the company immediately. Leo, enraged, calls for some guards and has Secretary Lou thrown out of the building. Then, he waits for the elevator with his assistant and Lucy. Lucy asks him if he now believes her. Leo, feeling emotional, hugs Lucy and says that he trusts her completely now. Just then, Lucy notices a dark energy surrounding her dad, making her realize that the danger hasn't passed yet. She immediately insists that they go home, and Leo agrees. As they start heading home, Secretary Lou suddenly comes running from behind with a bottle of acid, attempting to attack Leo. Lucy instantly freezes time, moves her dad aside to protect him, and steps away herself. Then, she resumes time, causing the acid to spill onto the ground, where it starts burning the surface. Seeing this, Leo becomes furious and orders his assistant to call the police. Secretary Lou panics and tries to run away, but just then, Lucy suddenly collapses to the ground. Leo rushes to his daughter. The assistant asks if he should go after Secretary Lou, but Leo says that can wait. His priority is saving Lucy. He takes her home, where a doctor treats her. The doctor explains that Lucy has become extremely weak, which is why she fainted. She had overused her magic to save her dad. Grandpa and Leo grow deeply worried and ask the doctor when she will recover. The doctor reassures them that she just needs proper rest and sleep. After some time, Lucy wakes up. She looks at Grandpa and notices a mix of blue and dark energy surrounding him, making her realize that someone is slowly trying to harm him. She looks around the room and senses that this negative energy is spread throughout the house. Using her magical map, she traces the source of the energy. It leads her to Grandpa's room, where she discovers that the energy is coming from a stone-like object. Shocked, Lucy asks who placed that stone there. Leo tells her to rest, but Grandpa explains that the stone was a gift from his younger son and his wife on his last birthday, and it has been there ever since. Everyone assumes that Lucy must have taken a liking to the stone. But when Leo offers to let her keep it, Lucy refuses. She reveals that the stone is filled with intense negative energy, which is slowly destroying the entire Queen family. Leo finds it hard to believe and questions how that could be possible, especially since the stone was a gift from his younger brother. Lucy then asks him, "If I tell you that I can see the future and sense approaching dangers, will you believe me?" Leo suddenly recalls the recent incidents, especially the acid attack, which Lucy had prevented in advance. Now, he starts to trust her words. Lucy insists that the stone is completely filled with negative energy and that it is the reason Grandpa has been ill for the past year. Hearing this, everyone begins to grow suspicious. Lucy uses her magic to break the stone. As soon as the stone shatters, Amy and her husband become furious because they had bought it for millions. Amy's husband starts scolding Lucy and, in his anger, tries to throw her out of the house. Seeing this, Leo angrily declares that if anyone even lays a finger on his daughter, they will have to face him. Amy and Amy's husband, shocked, question how Leo can trust this girl so much. They say that they, too, had trusted Lucy before, but she had tried to poison their dad, and now she had destroyed their priceless cdrama. Leo, enraged, replies that Lucy had not poisoned Grandpa, but had actually given him a life-restoring elixir that could have improved his health. So now, they cannot falsely accuse his daughter because she is a part of their family. Hearing this, Amy and Amy's husband become even angrier. They declare that they will never accept Lucy into the family because they believe she is a liar. Lucy, however, retorts that she knows the truth, that both of them are plotting to kill her dad and Grandpa to seize the entire property. That's why they place negative energy-infused objects around them, slowly deteriorating their health. Amy and Amy's husband completely deny the accusation, insisting that the stone had no negative energy. But inwardly, they worry. What if the stone really did contain negative energy? How will Lucy prove it? Determined to get rid of her, they decide that this time, they will enemy she is thrown out of the house. Lucy overhears their thoughts and confidently states that she is proof. She picks up the broken stone, takes it to the garden, and places it next to a plant. Then, she tells everyone to wait and observe what happens. Everyone watches closely, and within moments, the plant starts wilting. Seeing this, everyone is convinced that the stone was indeed filled with negative energy. Now, even Grandpa becomes furious. He scolds Amy and Amy's husband and orders them to leave the house. Just as they are about to leave, Grandpa stops them and tells them to meet him one last time the next day, as he is going to transfer all his property to his grandchildren. Hearing this, Amy and Amy's husband become even angrier, but they can do nothing and leave. Later, Lucy curiously asks Grandpa what shares are. Grandpa laughs and tells her that it's something interesting and that he will show her how it works the next morning. The next day, Lucy goes to the place Grandpa mentioned, accompanied by her dad. However, Leo receives a phone call on the way, so Lucy has to go inside alone. As soon as she enters, she meets a woman named Sean, who works at Leo's office. Sean had always wanted to marry Leo, so she starts sweet-talking Lucy, trying to gather information. However, Lucy is very smart. She quickly understands Sean's intentions and tells her to stop trying because her dad will never accept her. Lucy then asks Sean if she has ever seen her mom. She says that her mom was incredibly beautiful, which is why Leo married her. So Sean shouldn't waste her time. Hearing this, Sean becomes furious, but she can do nothing. Just then, Leo arrives and takes Lucy away. Now, the story moves forward to the charity exhibition. There, people start choosing stones according to their preferences. Everyone's eyes were on stone number 9, which was emitting a green glow. Many people were trying to acquire it, including San. Leo also wanted to take it, but Lucy stopped him, saying that he wasn't good at selecting stones, so he should let her do it. Lucy chose stone number 6, which was larger than the others. People started mocking her, saying she didn't know how to identify valuable stones and that such a young girl shouldn't be participating in this process. As the argument between San and Lucy escalated, Lucy proposed a bet. She suggested that both of them would choose their preferred stones, and whoever's stone turned out to be more valuable would win. Lucy declared that if she lost, she would not only give up her stone, but also convince her dad to marry San. However, if San lost, she would have to stop chasing Leo. Hearing this, San accepted the bet and finalized stone number 9. When the stone was cut open, it turned out to be completely green inside, making it extremely valuable. Everyone thought that San had won. But when Lucy's stone was cut open, it was even more valuable. It had a deep blue color. People were willing to pay double or even triple its price, but Lucy firmly refused, saying that she had chosen the stone for her dad. Everyone appreciated her decision. San had lost. Lucy teased her, asking if she still wanted to marry Leo. Furious, San started to leave, but Man mocked her, telling her to at least take her stone with her. Hearing this, everyone laughed. After that, the event organizer was called in, who turned out to be none other than Lucy's grandpa. He thanked everyone and announced that he was going to transfer all his property and shares to Lucy. Hearing this, everyone was delighted, and Lucy ran to hug her grandpa. A little while later, Grandpa had the papers brought in and got them signed by Man on the spot. When Amy and Amy's husband found out about this, they went crazy with rage. They shouted that they had worked so hard to acquire all of this, yet they got nothing in the end. Unwilling to accept defeat, they started plotting a new plan. Both of them confronted Grandpa, arguing about how he could give everything to Lucy when she was still a child and wouldn't be able to manage it. Grandpa calmly responded that Lucy was so intelligent that the two of them couldn't even compete with her, which is why he had transferred all his property to her. Hearing this, Amy started acting dramatic, claiming that he had always wanted the best for the family and had done everything possible to find the real granddaughter. But now, he was unsure if he had done the right thing. Amy's husband reported him and, a little while later, brought a young girl into the house along with a DNA report showing that the child was a match with Leo. Seeing the report, both Grandpa and Leo were shocked. However, Grandpa still didn't believe it and accused them of lying for money. The little girl tried to explain, but Grandpa, angry, told her to leave the house. Amy and Amy's husband started to take the child away, but when they noticed that Lucy was alone, they started their drama again. Just then, Leo arrived. The little girl began crying and claimed that this was her home, but the family refused to accept her. She dramatically accused Lucy of pushing her. Lucy responded that she had actually tried to stop her from falling. Cleverly, Yang slipped a torn photo into Lucy's bag and accused her of stealing and tearing it. Leo picked up the photo and tried to piece it together. When he recognized it as a picture of his wife, he asked Lucy if she could fix it. Lucy used her magic to restore the picture. Leo immediately realized that the image was a fake AI-generated picture and understood that Amy and Amy's husband were trying to deceive him once again. The fake child continued to act dramatically, claiming that if the family refused to accept her, she would take her own life. Hearing this, everyone was conflicted and started considering keeping her in the house. However, Lucy used her magic and stated that when she first arrived in this house, she had sensed her mother's presence. She had always believed that her mother was still around in some way. So, she decided to call her. She and Leo made a small cut on their hands, letting a few drops of blood float in the air. Leo, amorprized, asked what she was doing. Lucy replied that if they were truly family, the blood would lead them to her mother. A few moments later, the blood floated toward Leo's chest and absorbed into him. Smiling, Lucy declared, "Mom is with Dad." Leo then took out a jade necklace and explained that it had belonged to his wife. He had given it to her when he proposed, and after her death, he had kept it as a keepsake. Lucy used her magic on the necklace, causing it to fly away and immediately released the spirit of her mother. Seeing this, Amy and Amy's husband were terrified and immediately ran away with the fake child, realizing that their scheme had been exposed. Leo's wife, furious, scolded him for failing to recognize his own daughter. But Lucy calmed her mother down, explaining that Leo had always known deep inside, but Amy and Amy's husband had confused him. However, Grandpa had never abandoned her. Saying this, Lucy ran to hug Grandpa. Everything was finally resolved, and with that, the drama came to an end. If you like video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.